Hi there, I'm Manoj and welcome back. What we have in this video is a small data cleaning task, and it's not a real world data cleaning scenario where you'll have a real world data set which is very big compared to this data set. I've just considered a small data set with 4-5 rows to just demonstrate you. We just have 5 tasks in here to perform on this dataset, and again this is not a real world dataset, so don't expect much from this tutorial. I'm just going to show you how a basic data cleaning task runs. So let us first read this question. It happens all the time. Someone gives you data containing malformed strings, Python lists, and missing data. How do you tidy it up so you can get on with the analysis and take this data frame to use in the following puzzles? So we have this data frame. Let us first create the data frame. Let us insert a cell below. Let us import the required modules, pandas as PD, and import numpy as np. So these are the two modules we are going to require for this cleaning task. Let us create a data frame called df using pandas data frame function. So let me just grab this data frame and paste it here. So let us run this and let us look into the first question. So the first question is, some values in the flight number column are missing. These numbers are meant to increase by 10 with each row, so 10055 and 10075 need to be put in place. Fill in these missing numbers and make the column an integer column instead of a float column. So let us insert a cell below this, and let us first insert these two missing values. So df dot add to access that specific cell. So we are going to insert, let us first look into the data frame, df dot head. Let us first look how it is appearing. So we have a missing value at first row and a missing value at third row, so we need to access them using at function, and we need to insert it at the first row. So the first attribute is going to be 1 and the next attribute is going to be the name of the column. So flight number. So flight number. So we are just going to assign it like how we assign any other variable, and we're going to do the same for the next row too. So the next row is the third row in the same column, and we're going to insert 10075. So let us have a look at it, how it looks. df dot head. So let us look. So there we go, we have inserted the two missing values. So what's the next task? We need to convert this whole column into integers. Now it's currently in float, so let us insert another cell below, and in order to convert the data types of a column, you need to use the as type function. So df, and you need to mention the name of the column, which is flight number, and you need to assign it. So let me copy this, and you need to use the as type function, and we need to mention the data type we are going to convert into. There are two types of integer data types, int 32, which is 32 bits one, and this is int 64. So we are going to convert it into int 64, and let us now look at the data frame. So now it's converted into integers. So let us move on to the next task. The from to column would be better as two separate columns. Split each string on the underscore delimiter to give a new temporary data frame with the correct values. So let us insert on the cell, and in order to split the column we are going to use the split function. So we're going to write a small for loop. So before that we're just going to create two empty lists in order to push the from and to destinations separately into two separate lists, and then we'll create two separate columns for those two lists. So two, and we're going to create another list, and now we're going to iterate through each element in that from to column. So in df and from to, so we are going to iterate through each row of that column, and we are going to store each value in a variable called values, and we need to split it, right? We're going to split it on the basis of underscore delimiter, and we're going to push each from destination into from list, from underscore list, and to destination into a to underscore list. So from underscore dot append function is used to add values into a list, and values 0, as this split function returns a list of two elements. So the first thing we are going to append it into from underscore, and the second one we're going to append it to underscore. So we're done here, and let us now assign these two lists to the data frame as two different columns. In order to do that, I'm going to create a new data frame called df1, and I'm going to create a copy of it. So what happens when you don't use this copy function and you just directly assign it to the new data frame is it creates a reference. So whenever you make some changes to the new data frame, it gets affected to the already existing data frame. So make sure to use the copy function, and df1 is a copy of the already existing data frame df. So I'm going to insert these two lists as columns we've created before. I'm going to insert it at the initial position, like before this from to column. So we need to mention that position. So I'm going to insert it at the 0th position, and from, I'm going to name it as from, and you need to mention the list you are going to add, and in place is false. So next you need to do the same for the list 2. You need to add that list as a column to this data frame. So I'm going to name it as 2, and we're going to get the data from to list, and in place is false. So df1 dot drop, we need to drop the unnecessary column, right, the from underscore to column. So we are going to drop it using the drop function, drop, and you need to mention the name of the column, which is from to, and in place is equals to true. So let us run this cell, and it's executed. So let us move on to the next question. Notice how the capitalization of the city names is all mixed up in this temporary data frame. Standardize the strings so that only the first letter is uppercase and the rest is lowercase. So let us insert on the cell below this, and let us first have a look at how our data frame looks after performing the second task. So it looks something like this. Sorry, it's df1, right? We still didn't assign it to the original data frame. So our df1 data frame looks something like this. So in order to capitalize, I'm going to use a list comprehension. So caps, And in the list comprehension, I'm going to use a capitalize function, which is used to capitalize only the first alphabet, and it'll convert all the rest of alphabets into lowercase. So I'm going to use the capitalize, and I'm going to iterate it through that row. So df1 and from, and we're going to do the same for the 2 column 2, right? df1, and we need to assign it to from caps. So we're going to assign the from caps to this from, sorry, this f is capitalized. So we're going to do the same for the 2 column 2. So just copy paste it and add a 2 column here. And we also need to change the name of this variable, 2 caps and 2 caps. So let us just run this, and invalid syntax. I think we've made a mistake in here, I guess. Sorry, it's in for I in, right? Sorry, my bad. I in. So let us run this now, and completed. So let us move on to the 4th one. Delete the from underscore 2 column from df and attach the temporary data frame from the previous questions. So let us create a cell, and let us look into how our data frame 1 looks at this point. So our duplicate data frame looks something like this. So we need to delete from 2. So in order to delete the from underscore 2 column from the original data frame, we are going to use the drop function as we have done previously. Columns, and we're going to mention the column name and 2, sorry, and we're going to mention in place is true. So I'm just going to assign the duplicate data frame to this original data frame. So df equals to df1.copy. So it will create a copy of the new data frame into the older one, and df.head. So the older data frame should look similar to the new data frame. So we have completed the 4th task, and let us move on to the 5th task. So our 5th task is, in the recent delays column, the values have been entered into the data frame as a list. We would like each first value in its own column, each second value in its own column, and so on. So if there isn't an nth value, and value should be nan. So what we need to do here is we need to split this recent delays column as we have done for from 2. But the problem here is not all the rows have a same number of elements in their list. This list has 2 elements, this has none, this has 3, and this has 1. So we don't know how many times we need to iterate the loop in order to separate all those lists into values. So we are going to use a function. This is going to be tricky because just listen to it carefully. So we are going to create a new data frame called df2, and we're going to assign the values. So data frame, and we're going to access the column using the column name delays, and using the values attribute and to list. So whenever you have lists in your columns, you can just access those lists using this toList function and mentioning the name of that particular column. So we have got the list. So let us now split those lists, and by default those lists will be named like 1, 2 or 3 and so on. So let us add a prefix to those column names. So recent delays underscore. So the number of columns created will be like this: recent delays underscore 0, recent delays underscore 1, recent delays underscore, and so on. So, and let us display this new data frame. I hope we'll get it right. Yes, we've got it right. Our new columns look something like this. You might be wondering that these delays must be in integers, but why are they in floats? But it's mentioned in the question that we need to have nan values for all the empty cells. So if you convert this into integers, you need to replace these nan values as zeros, because integer columns don't have nan values in pandas. So let us now assign this to the original data frame. So we need to drop the original data frame and recent delays, right? Recent delays, and in place equals to true. And this time we are going to concatenate. So df equals to pd dot concat, and we are going to mention the two data frames that we want to concatenate in the form of list. So df and df2, and on what basis you want to concatenate these two data frames, you need to mention it. So we are going to concatenate them on the basis of columns. So you need to mention it as axis is equals to 1. If axis is 0, you are going to concatenate on the basis of rows. So let us now run this, and it's done. And let us now view our final data frame, which is almost clean. I mean, we've performed all the tasks we are given. So this is how our final data frame looks. We've converted the data types of this column, flight number, and we've split this from two column into two columns. We've split this recent delays column and replaced all the empty values to nan. So this is how you perform the data cleaning. You know, this is not a complete example of a data cleaning task. Like you'll have very big data sets compared to this one, but this tutorial is just to show you how these functions are used, how you convert these data types of every column, how you split them, right? I hope you understand. This is not a complete data cleaning tutorial. As I've mentioned on the thumbnail, it's just data cleaning assignment where we are given a small data set and some tasks to perform on it. So I hope you like this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel for more such videos. I'm going to be making some Python tutorials and tutorials on pandas, numpy, and matplotlib, and many other videos. I'll meet you in the next video. So until then, stay tuned.